Okay, guys, so I'm starting now. Meanwhile, other people can join, or that's not an issue. So I'm continuing with day two. As promised, like I will be giving you around 10 sessions continuous in weekdays or weekends. It depends. We'll try to cover more than 100 questions with their answers. So I'll be continuing with next question. And yesterday video, guys, I've uploaded in my application. And if you have any issues in accessing that, you can tell me after the class. I'll show you where I have uploaded it. And happy Ganesh Chaturthi to everyone, guys. So I'm starting now. I have some offers for you after this. I'll tell you. So first question, guys, for everyone is question number 16th. You can also note down that today we will be starting with question number 16 related to LTM. So first I'm trying to cover a little bit on LTM, then we will start with WAF also. I will try if I can cover something on WAF today. So let me log in into the device also, guys, so that I can show you some live scenarios questions also which we discussed. So guys, question number 16, as discussed, I'll be covering random question is when I am upgrading my F5. Okay, please try to listen the question. I have to upgrade my F5. In that case, when upgrading an F5, my F5 is giving an error that configuration is not loading successfully. And all the questions will be from production environment. I have a task to upgrade my F5, but F5 is giving an option configuration load failed. Instead of successfully, configuration load is not happening. What can be issue? What is the pre-request which I need to take care so that my F5 when I upgrade, it should not get configuration load failed. So anyone. So in that case, guys, there are two prerequisites which you need to take care when you need to upgrade F5. First, you need to know what is service check date. And because this is day-to-day task, if you are in operations or you are working in F5, these questions will be asked versus license check date. If you understand this concept, you will be taking care of this. Service check date and license check date, how you can see, and what is the definition, guys. So service check date is the date which is located in your license file. Or I can say that service check date is the date when your F5 got last activated or when license got last activated. So that is the date when service check date comes into picture. Let's say today I've renewed the license. So service check date will be my today's date. And license check date is, guys, the date which comes with your software. When a new image comes in, there is a license check date with them. And how you can check it, guys, there is a very good article to see what is the license check date. So I will go here, I'll go into license check date F5, and this article you need to refer. I'll be sharing you this article on the chat. So here it is also saying you the same thing. License activation may be required prior to software upgrade, but this is for big IP. We want to see for big IP. So we'll check that. So always there is a prerequisite to check that date. So I will show you where you can find the license check date and service check date, guys, where you need to check here. You need to go to this article, system, this image, license. So what is my survey check date? Anyone? If someone asks you what is survey check date, so survey check date is 25th August 2023, guys. Now, if I want to check my license check date, so I will show you that. So here you can see the license check date. So license check date is your static date, which is built with your software. So let's say I need to upgrade my box from 13 to 14. So I need to see the license check date for 14 image. So 14 image license check date is 2018. And what should be the condition, guys? So we have seen that service check date is 2023, license check date is 2018. Now what is the condition? In which case I want to reactivate my license so that my configuration does not check it. So there is a condition on that. See, when you upgrade your F5 and if you forget to validate your service check date with license check date, so if service check date is less than license check date or earlier, then F5 will float to configuration file. In that case, your configuration file can get failed to load. So your service check date should be always greater than license check date. If it is not, then you need to first reactivate your license before upgrade. That was a very important question which will be asked in an interview. Okay, and how you can reactivate, I have shown you already. You just need to click here, reactivate, and just apply your key. If service check date is less than license check date, if service check date is greater, then you don't need to reactivate. Your upgrade will not get fail. So that was question number 16 for today's. Now, next question, guys. Question number 17. What is the difference between SSL offloading versus SSL bridging versus SSL pass through? In F5, this question is asked in hundred of interviews, guys, because this is a SSL based question and this is widely used in organization. So before understanding the difference, you should understand what is SSL offloading, what is SSL bridging, and what is SSL pass through. So SSL offloading, if I talk about this term, this will come into picture when you have a client who wants to access your application behind load balancer. I have 3 servers. So SSL offloading means that when client to F5 session, that is called front end. I will say that that is a front end connection and this is back end connection. So when SSL offloading, what does it mean is this session is encrypted and this session is unencrypted. So I can say that front end connection is encrypted. No one can hack. Back end connection is on plain text. So that is a simple meaning of SSL offloading. In this case, how we do the configuration, you will create a virtual server and you will call client SSL profile. If you have applied client SSL profile, that will term as SSL offloading. And how we can do? So you go to local traffic, virtual server, and you need to apply SSL profile. I will update. Let's see whether it will work or not. Okay. Now, is it correct, guys? I am making port 80 and applying an SSL. You need to tell me the answer. Interviewer can ask the question, can SSL profile be applied on port 80? Will it throw any error? No, it is not throwing an error. But can I apply SSL profile on port 80? Will it helpful? So SSL profile means your port number should be HTTPS. HTTPS means HTTP plus S. So you should always create 1443 virtual server and you need to apply client SSL profile. That is SSL offloading, where your front end connection will be encrypted, but back end connection will be plain text. Now, what is SSL bridging? SSL bridging means you have a client, you have F5, you have 3 servers. Your virtual server is also on 443 and your servers are also on 443. So SSL bridging means both the connection will be encrypted. This session will also get encrypted. F5 to the server will also get encrypted because F5 is a full proxy architecture. So that's why we have two connection. One is from client to F5, one is from F5 to the server. And how we can make end-to-end encryption? So I will apply client SSL also, and I will apply server SSL profile also. Very, very important, guys. So how I can apply? You just need to go to local traffic, virtual server, port 443, and you apply server SSL in this. Update. That is how you make sure that your connection is end-to-end encrypted. But guys, one question here I have is, my virtual server is 443 and I have applied client SSL. My pool members or servers are on 80 and I applied server SSL. Will it work? Will I able to access my virtual server in SSL bridging? Quick question from this. See, if you answer any question, they can ask cross question out of that. In SSL bridging, if I apply client SSL profile, server SSL profile, and pool number is 80, your servers are listening on 80 port. Will it work? No. There is a condition when SSL bridging, if you want to enable end-to-end encryption, your virtual server should be on 443. Your pool members will be also on 443. That is the requirement which comes into picture, guys. Very important, guys. So that is how I teach. I make sure that you understand the production environment. And that is I give guarantee on that part. Now, last topic, SSL pass through of this question. What does SSL pass through means? SSL pass through means you have client F5 servers. I want my sessions to be encrypted. End to end, it should be encrypted. F5 is also on 443, servers are also on 443. But in F5, it will not do any encryption or decryption. I will not assign any client SSL profile, HTTP profile here. F5 will not do any encryption or decryption. But I want my session should be, which is passing is just pass through. Pass through means session will be SSL pass through, but encryption and decryption will be done by server end. That is the exact meaning of SSL pass through, guys. That is a true meaning of SSL offloading, SSL pass through, SSL bridging. Question number 18. My certificate of SSL is getting expired. This question, guys, I get lot of question from my student. My SSL certificate is getting expired. How I can renew that? Lot of operations people get this activity. That certificate is getting expired. How I can renew it? Very, very important question. And what are the things you need to be careful? So first thing, guys, when SSL certificate is getting expired, first thing is you need to request new certificate from either your customer team or your application team, and from where they can get a certificate, from certificate authority. Certificate authority is GoDaddy, and there are other things. Once you get a new certificate, let's say my customer have given me new certificate. What should be the format, guys? Normally, it should be PEM format or .pfix. After that, question people ask is, do I need to change SSL profile also, or should I just upload a certificate and just apply that certificate on that? So best way when you want to renew the certificate, first point is you upload new certificate and key. How you can upload that? Just go to system. After system, there is a concept calls file management. You go to SSL certificate and list. So let's say I have a default profile which I have created. Quickly, I will call one new profile here. I will say SSL new. Okay. I will here. That is how you can do it. If you need to import any certificate, you call here. So right now, I'm just using a default. So what I can do is, if you want to, from here, you get an option. If you want to upload any certificate, you get an option here. You need to just select PKCS. You need to enter your name and then certificate source. Once you get that, after that, what is the option you get? After that, important thing is you just need to go to your existing profile. You upload a certificate key here from this file. After that, you go to your profile. Let's say this is one profile. Here, you just upload that new certificate and key name. But here, guys, from where I can do that? So you need to go to profiles, client. Here you just upload new certificate and name. That's it. Because if you create a new profile also, then you need to change your virtual server also. So better is you just upload, important thing, you just upload new cert and key, and then just call this new cert and key in existing profile. so that you don't need to change anything on your virtual server because virtual server already have a profile. So just upload new certificate and key and upload on existing profile. So that is an important meaning of how to upload certificate and profile and how I can renew that option. Now guys, another question related to live troubleshooting is what is one arm mode architecture? This question will be asked related to an architecture. What is one arm in F5 and versus two arm? Two arm will decide later on, but in what scenario you can use one arm architecture in F5? So one arm means one interface of F5 will be used for incoming and outgoing. So guys, architecture is like you have client, then you have F5, then you have servers, server 1, server 2, server 3. This is how your architecture is when we deploy F5. And this architecture we call external world or front end network. And this architecture we call backend. So one arm interface, this architecture is called two arm, where your front end network is on different interface, your backend network is on different interface. But when we talk about one arm mode, same interface will be used for external and internal, or you can say for incoming and outgoing. So what is the best use case, guys? So I will show you quickly. This question, guys, many people get confused how to answer. So you have client, then you have firewall, then you have F5, and your servers are located in AWS. So one arm architecture means I will only have this interface, both for traffic coming to web IP and traffic going to go to servers. So what will happen is same interface will be used for client connecting to my virtual server, and then F5 will forward the same interface because servers, he will look, oh, my servers are not directly connected. So what it will check, guys? In most of the environment, we use two arm, but here my servers are on cloud. So F5 does not have direct connectivity to cloud. So in that case, what I need to have a connectivity with my servers. So F5 will have one default route. So I will say to reach server 1, server 2, server 3 network, I should point out to firewall. So traffic comes here, F5 wants to load balance, then again it will go to firewall because server gateways are also firewall. So that is the best use case, in which case one arm mode is used. Same interface is used for incoming traffic and outgoing traffic. So this, we only create one interface, one self IP. Because servers are not located here, servers are on cloud network, guys. Question number 20. What is difference between self IP versus floating self IP? Very, very important practical question. In which case I require self IP, in which case I require floating self IP. Guys, so self IP is nothing but a layer 3 IP address assigned to VLAN. That's it. Or we can say it's called SVI, Switch Virtual Interface. But what is floating then? Floating self IP comes into picture when we configure high availability. It is used in high availability to support fail over. So let's say I have two F5s, F51, F52. This is my internal interface. Here also I have internal interface. Now you tell me, I will draw a picture for you. Why I need a floating self IP, you will come to know. I have F5 active device. I have F5 standby device. I have three servers. Server 1, server 2, server 3. I have a router. Then I have a client coming on internet. In F5, when which device is active, traffic will go via this part. This will become standby. So it's got this way. Now, can you tell me, guys, what will be the default gateway of these servers? Will it be this device or this device? Very, very carefully, please understand this question. When I talk about server gateway will point out to this or this. Anyone? If I give gateway this, let's say this device goes down, what will happen? Even this device becomes active, there will be an outage. So server gateway either should not be this or this. There will be one floating IP, which will get float, which is a common shared cluster IP. So when active member fails to do its task, the floating IP will get transferred to this IP. It is same like an HSRP, VRRP concept. Very, very important. And how you configure it? You go here on F5, you go to virtual server, go to network, self IP. Here, can you see this is traffic local only, non-floating. Here you need to create one floating IP, which is a common shared IP. So that is how you configured. For each network, let's say I have an external network. So one IP will be active for one interface on F51. In F52, it will be 192.168.1.21. And the common IP will be, you can say 192.168.1.22. So that is a floating IP concept you need to do. Next question, which I want to discuss very, very carefully, you need to answer that because this question will be asked in an interview. How do you configure F5 LTM for a specific application? Let's say you get a new application to be configured on your F5. What are the requirements which you need to ask customer? Let's say I got a requirement to configure specific application on F5. What are the things you need to ask your customer? First thing, what are the how many application they need to configure? So accordingly, you will configure virtual server. You need to ask the port number of your application. Second thing, how many servers will be used for load balancing and on which port they are listening. Either it's an HTTP port or SSH port or what thing. Third thing, load balancing algo. Fourth thing, health monitor, whether they want to use TCP, HTTP, or any other type of health monitor. Fifth question, SSL configuration, whether they want to configure SSL offloading, SSL pass through, or SSL bridging. Sixth, they need to configure any I rules, you can ask. Seventh, last question, profiles, whether it's just they need a TCP profile or they need any HTTP profile also. These are the 7 questions which you need to ask when you need to configure specific application on your F5 load balancer. As an interviewer, this will be asked, guys, because I need to know what are the things you have configured so far in your environment. Let's say you're working from last 5 years. What are the things you have configured so far? So that I can test whether you're working professional or not. Whenever you give any interview, guys, they will ask you this question to test your knowledge whether you're working or not. So let me stop here.